In Fort Smith, Monday's storms damaged the Lake Fort Smith water treatment plant and knocked out power. The city says it's now producing 5 to 10 million fewer gallons of water per day and is asking customers to conserve. On top of that, heat, little rain before that weather event, and steady growth have been putting pressure on water supplies across northwest Arkansas.
If we could eliminate all lawn irrigation and sod and hydro seeding, we would remove 2 to 4 million gallons a day off the demand.
They're being asked to conserve, with officials saying that cutting back on lawn irrigation could help save millions of gallons of water a day. Well, Mountainberg schools are closed today after those storms swept across the area on Monday. With multiple reported power outages, city leaders are addressing the forecasted extreme heat for today. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach was in Mountainberg this morning and shares a closer look.
We've been in the Mountainberg region all morning, and this is the most severe damage that we've seen from Monday's storms. Nearby neighbors did not want to talk on camera, but they say that the residents who lived here had just moved in on Saturday, all the way from Washington State. Mountainberg Mayor Susan Wilson says with the extreme heat this week, getting residents' power turned back on remains her top priority. The Crawford County Highway Department says they expect to clear most of the roads by the end of Tuesday. On Monday, crews were out after dark working to remove debris. James Parmenter says this is one of the most damaging storms he's seen, with trees and power lines down across the county. He reminds residents to avoid power lines, as some of them may be on, and urges everyone who has to drive today to be patient and take extra precaution. Even if a road is clear, trees could still fall. With crews working around the clock, Parmenter says no gesture is too small.
Well, that's what we all need to do, is help each other. We've had electric company helping out. You know, of course, we can't do nothing with their power lines, but we've had community people with their tractors out helping move, and just a lot to do with no more people than we got.
The mayor says she's grateful to nearby cities such as Fort Smith and Mulberry for offering to help. Congressman Womack's office also reached out to help clear this debris. In Mountainberg, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Thank you, Claire. And new at noon, the Arkansas Department of Health has issued a precautionary boil water notice for parts of Cedarville. That ordering covers main streets like Lancaster, Old 81 Loop, Old 88, Kenner Chapel, Hobtown, Wofford, and Highway 162. The notice follows a power outage that caused that loss of normal water pressure. People in that area should boil their water for drinking or food preparation for 1 minute. They should also discard existing ice and use boiled water to make new ice. That notice will remain in effect until officials confirm that the water is safe to drink. Well, 2 people were found dead in Rogers, and that investigation continues today. Police say this happened in the 300 block of East Southern Trace Drive. This is video 5 News got at that scene late last night. Investigators say there is no threat to the public, and they are talking to a person of interest now. We'll continue to follow this case. We'll bring you updates today right here on 5 News. Well, police in Oklahoma are investigating a shooting that happened during a traffic stop in Panama. A LaFleur County deputy pulled over a man and performed a field sobriety test on Sunday night. Police say the man then ran to his car, grabbed a gun, and shot at the deputy. The officer fired back and shot the man. He was taken to a hospital and is now stable. Well, tensions over the Strait of Hormuz are dragging down hopes of a negotiated peace settlement between the U.S. and Iran. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
A British maritime tracking agency reports a projectile hit a ship going through the Strait of Hormuz Tuesday, as tensions over the key waterway remain a sticking point between the U.S. and Iran.
We have total control over the strait. Now, they can be a nuisance. They can put a mine in the water, and people don't like having mines hit their billion-dollar ships, etc.
Iran continues to talk with Middle East ally Oman over a plan to manage traffic through the strait, while President Trump is threatening to bomb Oman if they, quote, get in the way.
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
Iran's top negotiator says the strait will not reopen until its demands are met. And Tehran is pushing back against President Trump, saying he wants to make the strait a U.S. territory.
Well, I just think it's a great idea.
An Iranian diplomat warned, quote, soon Trump's delusion regarding the Strait of Hormuz will either be corrected or we will correct the delusions of this delusional man.
President Trump this morning said there are no talks or conversations going on with Iran and that the U.S. naval blockade remains in full force.
President Trump's son-in-law and negotiator Jared Kushner spoke to Fox News Monday, saying the number one goal remains making sure Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
If Iran is willing to, finish the deal that they've been discussing with us to give up their ability to create a nuclear weapon, then obviously he's willing to make a deal that could be great for the Iranian people.
Oil prices rose again Tuesday as optimism faded over a breakthrough. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, the fight over the Franklin County Prison is heating up again. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette reports the state has quietly canceled the 3,000-bed project, citing internal emails. But the governor's office is pushing back, saying those documents don't represent a final decision. An April email from a corrections official said the project was canceled. Another internal plan reportedly outlines possible expansions at existing facilities, but does not include that new prison in Franklin County. The governor's office does not dispute the documents. In a statement, a spokesperson called them an exchange of ideas by staff, not a final policy decision.
We need to get out of this mindset of building one mega facility, because you can see other states, those are financial disasters and do not serve the best interests of the citizens.
State lawmakers approved the department's fiscal year funding in March, and that included language that prohibits using funds in the next year to build the prison in Franklin County. Well, today, the Fayetteville City Council will consider an ordinance to strengthen data center regulations. These new measures would address wastewater discharge, noise levels, and more. Earlier this summer, council members said they do not know of any large data center projects being proposed in Fayetteville at this time. And Fort Smith City directors are set to discuss two big items on their agenda tonight. First, the proposal to let voters decide on the change of government. Now, directors have already failed to pass that proposal twice, and a citizen petition is already being counted to get it on the ballot. Second, an ordinance that would fine cities or entities that transport people experiencing homelessness into Fort Smith. Well, a winter favorite in Northwest Arkansas is getting ready to open for the season. The rink at Lawrence Plaza in downtown Bentonville will open to the public November 21st. The 7,000 square foot outdoor rink will offer skating for all ages. It's open through February. Tickets will go on sale on November 1st. Private parties, family passes, and skating lessons are also available.